What's up, guys? Welcome back to another F1 2019 Career Mode episode. Today we are at the circuit Paul Ricard for the French Grand Prix, and as you'll see, we have the tire wear upgrade and the gearbox durability upgrade that we applied last time, successfully completed and on the car for this race. And also, it's going to be a dry race and qualifying, which is good news for me because I am terrible in wet weather conditions. As we go over to the R&D chart here, you can see that we both Haas and Racing Point got a minor upgrade put on the car, so we stay neck and neck from last time in Canada, but we do put a bit of a gap between us and McLaren. As we go to qualifying one here, this is my first lap of the session. You'll see it's right at the beginning of the session, just in case something happens on this lap, like I spin out. I'll still have time to do another one. I feel like I pushed pretty good on this lap. I don't think I could have gone any faster than what I could have as we jump to the end of the lap here. What you'll see is that I didn't do too bad. I ran over the curb there. I made like one minor mistake on the lap, but I didn't think it was too bad. But as we cross the line here, it's P4, and once we jump back to the garage in the pit lane, you'll see that we're already down to P9, and if we fast forward through time a little bit, you'll see that we're just dropping down the order extremely fast. I didn't think the pace was too bad, but apparently I'm 2.3 seconds off. As we go for our second flying lap here, this is our out lap to our second quality lap. We are using a second set of fresh tires, so as we come down the lap here, you'll see a bunch of people coming out of the pit box. You'll see that we get by the Renault of Ricciardo, but we don't get by the Red Bull Max Verstappen, and he just turns into us going into turn one, and that just loses us 0.3 of a second here, and he fights us all the way through the lap. I think he tries to overtake us into the chicane on the back straight, but regardless, he just caused me so much time loss here. And as you'll see, as we jump to the end of the lap, we are basically 2 seconds down on our original time that was 2 seconds down, so we obviously do not improve. We're going to go for a second quality lap on the same tires, so our third lap of the session. We're still in P18, but as we jump to the end, you can see that I'm basically 2 seconds down again, so I just drive into the pits, and that's qualifying over for us. P18, it's gonna be P19 once the session ends, but you can see Max Verstappen was in P7. He was completely clear. He set his fastest lap on the medium tires, and in this little screenshot I took, he's on the soft tires. He didn't need to come out. He didn't need to fight me throughout the lap. He should have known that I was on a flying lap, and he was just doing his out lap. So I don't know what he was playing at, but he was basically one of the main reasons that I did not get out of Q1. P19. Barely faster than the Williams. Only one of the Williams. Kubica actually beats me, but we'll just have to see how it goes in the race. Hopefully it'll be better than how qualifying went.
Welcome along then to the circuit Paul Ricard, home of the French Grand Prix, home race of the Renault team, and of course a number of the drivers on the grid as well. Of the 14 races held here up until 1990, 5 were won by a Frenchman, and 4 of those, of course, were Alain Prost. I wonder who'll add their name to that winners list today. 6 lefts and 9 rights give us a total of 15 corners here at the circuit Paul Ricard, and a lap covers an overall distance of 3.6 miles. Average speeds will be somewhere in the region of 142 miles per hour, and they'll be maxing out on the Mistral Straight at around 205 miles per hour. Anthony Davidson, thanks for joining me once again for the Grand Prix. Let's talk about Bird. No grip penalties, no mitigating circumstances, just a poor qualifying performance and a very disappointing start position for them today.
It's not a nice feeling, I promise you. They've got a quick car underneath them, but they've got onto the grid today and they need a pair of binoculars to see the start lights. They'll be desperate for a good start to make up for some of that deficit.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Bottas, Verstappen, Devon Butler and Faber, Perez, Grosjean, Kvyat and Lance Stroll, Hülkenberg, Giovinazzi, Charles Leclerc and Raikkonen, Gasly, Norris, Daniel Ricciardo and Robert Kubica, Bird and George Russell ends our grid lineup. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
So here we are in the grid for the race. As you can see, it's going to be a one-stop strategy. Maybe that's because I did the tire wear upgrade. Maybe it's just natural that it was going to be like this. But it's going to be 27 laps. As you'll see, I changed my qualifying setup from a front wing 6 to a front wing 5. I was doing 5 in practice. I just threw it up during qualifying just so I can get extra speed around those high-speed corners. But as you'll see, we are going to be doing a medium to soft strategy. My thinking behind this was that we're from the back, so maybe we can overtake a bunch of people and then switch onto the extremely fast tires at the end of the race, when everybody else is probably going to be going on from softs to hards or mediums to hards, like my original strategy was. But hopefully that will play out good for us. Here we are on the start-finish line, and the lights go out, and away we go. For starting from 19th, hopefully we can make up some good positions in the first lap. We're going to try to go up the inside here. We make a nice move on Ricardo. He turns in on us, but we are still side by side, and we do get that position. We're up to P17. We overtake the Williams and Ricardo. We're going to try to go around the outside here of Norris, and we are still side by side again, but we do kind of squeeze them out. We're trying to go around the outside of Raikkonen, but my luck runs out. We run onto the curbing. Raikkonen gets by, and Norris is going to get a better exit out of there. I'm going to try to go around the outside, but I just underestimate how heavy the car is, and I go off the track. It's going to be an illegal overtake, so I have to slow down and give Norris the position back. And doing so allows Russell to get through, not Ricardo. I thought Ricardo was the one behind me, but we fall out into P18, so that's still one position gained. So it's not too bad, but it could have been better if I didn't try to be too ambitious. But now Russell and Norris are going side by side. Russell looks like he has the upper hand as he gets in front. I try to go around the outside. It doesn't quite work out on Norris, but just underestimating the weight again as Kubica tries to go up my inside on my misfortune, but I do not allow him to do that. We're going to jump to the back straight of lap 2 here. Norris is still behind Russell, and being behind the Williams like this is making us lose touch with the front of the pack. You can see there's a bit of a gap forming between the next train of cars, and then there's a little bit of a gap between those front runners. We get really close to Norris, and we try to go around the outside. Once again, the car is just a little too heavy, and I'm a little too ambitious on where I could brake to make the move stick. As you'll see, I was trying to overtake around that corner all race, and it just never worked out for me. Inside, outside, it doesn't work. But now we're going to jump on the lap 4 here with DRS finally enabled. Hopefully I'll be able to make a move now with the extra straight line speed we have. But the problem is that everybody's in a train, so everybody in front of me is also going to have DRS. But we are closing up massively to Norris. We must have just got a better exit. He's actually farther behind Russell than I thought he would be. We cleanly go around him. So that's us in the P17 here, but a little bit of a back end twitch prevents us from getting a good run on Russell. So we're gonna have to wait another second as he actually makes he's gonna make a move on Hulkenberg here. We're gonna try to go up the inside as it slows them both down, but I kind of back out of that. But Russell kind of squeezes Hulkenberg out, which allows me to push him out wide and allow me to go through. He pushed me over the curve for the apex, but luckily that wasn't too big of a issue, and now we are in P16. Moving on to the next lap on this back straight. It's probably the best overtaking zone on the entire track. The pit straight is a bit too tough. It's not long enough, and it's such a weird corner before you get onto the straight. It doesn't allow you to overtake, but I'm actually going to turn the fuel down here because I'm too far back to make an overtake on Russell, and I'm a bit desperate on ERS modes here. I make a bit of contact on Russell and his back end. He's just going a little bit slower than I expected him to, but luckily no damage. And as we turn the engine up, we're going to get a good run on him. He turns into me, I tried not to like squeeze him out too much, but he did that to himself. So that's us. That's us up into another position, P15. And now Giovinazzi's up next, P14, and he is the last car in this train. Before we're gonna have a bit of clean air to make our way up to the higher positions, as you can see on the mini map there. But maybe we can make a move on this pit straight if we can get a good exit. But even with DRS, I think we're going to be a bit too far back to make a move. So yeah, I turned the engine down, lean none, just to preserve the fuel and the ERS battery power. Just because I knew I wasn't going to make a move here. I was too far back, and I need this for the back straight so I can actually make my real move on him. But as you'll be able to see here, Giovinazzi is well outside the DRS range of the car in front of him, so this should be a move that's really easy to make. Get a good solid exit out of the final like real turn before the back straight and DRS on. I don't have my engine pumped up all the way because we are gaining rapidly on Giovinazzi as we make a nice late braking move to go around the outside of Giovinazzi, and we are up in the P14. And that's another overtake done on the back straight. And now we have a bit of racing to do before we can catch up to P13, which is Kimi Räikkönen and the other Alfa Romeo. As we jump on to lap 10 here, we aren't really gaining on Räikkönen, unfortunately, but I'd make a move, a bad move, I should say, around that corner. That was probably one of my weakest corners. I wasn't really sure how to take it, but here I'm just too ambitious to try to make up for my mistake on that corner, and I kind of lose the back end. Norris is going to get by me again, so unfortunately that's us down a position. He gets DRS because he was behind me at the detection point. What a tongue twister. But the bad thing for Norris is I'm going to get the DRS on the back straight, which is the better overtaking point on the racetrack anyway. So DRS on. He got a really good exit fair to Norris here that I didn't really get. But we do close up massively in the braking. We're much faster than the AI into that braking zone just because I can kind of like just dive it in there more than they can. But now we are going to have the run on him up around to the high-speed right-hander and into the other high to slow-speed right-hander. We kind of get close, but I kind of bail out of it. I go off the racetrack and let him keep the position. Going on the lap 12 here, we are going to get a much better run on Norris, hopefully. I have done a bit of saving on the ERS side of things, but I do turn off the fuel mixture the ERS mixture because I am gaining. Squeeze him to the apex, and we get up into P13 once again. Hopefully we do not lose it this time, but you can see if you were paying attention, all the people outside the top 10 that we've been racing are all in the medium tires, so I'm expecting them to go onto the hard tires as we jump on the lap 16. You can see that the top runners, Butler and Leclerc, are both on hard tires, so it looks like the top strategy was to do soft to hards too. But we're here on lap 17 because Leclerc is behind me. He is really right behind me. He's up my gearbox. He's going to try to make a move into the right-hander here, but I do not allow him. I do not want him to be in front of me. I kind of don't get a good run there, but I kind of cheekily let him by just because he's much quicker than me. I didn't want him to get away, and I want it to be within a second on the detection point so I could get DRS here, save a bit of fuel down the back straight. I knew he was going to get by me. It was just I didn't want him to get away before the DRS was activated, I should say. I'm kind of slurring my words. I'm sorry for that, but yeah, Leclerc's by, everybody's on hard, and I'm trying to extend my medium tires as much as possible so I can go onto a fresh set of softs right at the end. People are going to be on worn hards, and I'm going to be on fresh softs. It's going to be a massive pace difference, and I'm hopefully going to be able to overtake people heading into our pit stop at the end of that lap where we got overtaken by Leclerc. And you'll see that we do, due to the nature of pitting so late and doing the overcut, we are going to lose a bit of positions here, but we did gain a few because we overtook a bunch of people that already pit. So we were in P13 before, now we are in P12, and as you see coming up the mini map here, we have an Alpha of Raikkonen and the McLaren of Lando Norris come up the thing, up the pit straight, so we are down in the P14. So that's kind of like a -1 loss, but like I said, we're going to be massively faster here than the two cars in front of us, or all the cars in front of us. As you can see that we close up massively to Kimi Räikkönen just around that left-hander. We just have so much more grip than he does. But we are going to try to make a move coming into the left-hander here. Just with our fresh tires, we're able to just take a much sharper line with more speed than he was able to. And that's us up in the P13, back to where we were before the pit stop phase. And our next stop is to get Lando Norris in the McLaren in P12. He is 1.3 seconds up the road, but I have a feeling that we are not going to take too long to catch up to him here. As you'll see as we go through the end of Sector 1, we're just going to close up rapidly on the braking zones and in the left-hander here. You could tell how much distance we just closed up on those two corners alone. Max Verstappen is out of the race and a safety car is deployed. So our overtake of Lando Norris is going to have to wait until the safety car comes in. So we're just going to jump to the end of the safety car period. You can see we're behind Norris, but this is probably a blessing in disguise for us, considering that there was a bunch of clear air between Norris and Kvyat. But now with the safety car period, everybody's closed up, so they're all within my grasp to the overtake. I get a little bit of a bad exit out of the restart, but we have 5 more laps as we move on to lap 22 here to overtake as many cars as we can find possible. We get a nice good run out of the back turn onto the back straight. Lando Norris is going to make a move on Kvyat. I have the engine pumping up at full power here, considering I just saved up a bunch of fuel and ERS in the safety car period. But now we're going to have a move on Kvyat. We're really close. We are gaining, but he has the slipstream from Lando Norris, so we can't really make a move on him. He's going to make a move on Norris, and we get really close. I decided to pull off the gas and put on the brakes there, so I didn't collide with Kvyat, but we do manage to make an overtake of him into the slowing right-hander, and that's us up in the P11. If we overtake Norris now, our original goal, we can find ourselves in a points position starting from P19 on the grid, which would be a very successful race in my book. But here we are right in the back of Norris. We're taking a really wide line through there, late apex, so we can get a good run in Norris. I accidentally shift down. I don't know what I was really doing there, but that's going to allow Norris to get a little bit of a gap between us, but as you'll see, it won't really matter. Rich engine mix and overtake mode allows us to really rapidly gain up on Norris here. I turn the ERS down, brake late, and kind of squeeze him to the apex again, so just making sure he can't dive bomb me too much, and I get the heat to position. Going in the P10 now. Lance Stroll is next up on our overtaking list, 2.6 seconds up the road, and now we're going to jump to the next lap. As you can see that there's a whole train of cars in front of us now. Lance Stroll is just the last one on this whole train. So here we go, DRS, but everybody has DRS. That's the only problem with these long trains, is that it's so much harder to overtake on the straights because everybody has DRS off each other and slipstream, so you don't really have much of a straight line speed advantage unless you have a better engine. But we get a good run on Stroll here, and since he's in a train, he's going to brake early, and we're just going to dive around the outside. And we accidentally make contact with Grosjean again, but that's us up in the P9. And once again, we find ourselves right behind Romain Grosjean. Like I said in the last video, I'm always finding myself like directly behind him. This is like the third or fourth race in a row that I'm like directly behind Romain Grosjean. It has to be fourth because we were in Spain, Monaco, Canada and France here. That's 4 races. We're right behind Grosjean, but we get a good run on Grosjean now, considering he got a bad exit behind Perez. We have the engine pumping up as hard as we can. We have to back out of that a little bit, and it looks like our move on Grosjean is going to have to wait another day. Lance Stroll is coming back at us. He makes contact apparently. And he makes contact with us again. I didn't really hear it the first time, but you know, the arm goes up, and that obviously means that they made contact. But here we go, lap 26, the penultimate lap. We have to make our overtakes count at this point because we do not have much time left in the race. Rich mix and hot lap mode, DRS activated, and we are hopefully gaining on Grosjean this time. We do not have a lot of battery left to play with, so you can see we're under 10%. They break way earlier than I expect, and I accidentally make contact with Grosjean when I'm trying to avoid them diving up the inside, but me being on the that accident where I'm just brake a little too late compared to what Grosjean did actually helps me make an overtake of him. He's still side by side with me. I leave him a little room, but just enough where he decides to back out of it. So that's us up in the P8 and beating our teammate again. Lucas Weber is up next, but we do not have much time to beat him now. We're going to cut to the end of Sector 1 in the final lap here. We have to make our overtake of Weber count. Weber, rather. I get a little bit of a rear end twitch coming out of the corner, but he has DRS, unfortunately. He's just too far away. So our only and last shot to make it our overtake on Weber is to get him on this next straight here. But it's going to be a little bit difficult with Sergio Perez right in front of him, giving him a slipstream. So we have rich mix and overtake mode going. We're not really gaining on him too much. Weber is probably pumping his engine up too. We try to go around the outside, but it doesn't really work out for us. And that was really our last chance to overtake him. So as we cut to the end of the lap here, you can see that Lewis Hamilton wins another race for Mercedes, and we're going to come for another P8 finish in the points for Haas.
I can't say that I'm happy with how today went, but I'm sure you gave it your best. Better luck next time.
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
So it's a solid P8 finish for us. We pick up 4 good points, which is pretty good starting from P19 in the grid. We actually beat Grosjean, who started in P8, so I don't know if he was probably just a bit slower than we were, or maybe he had just had the less optimal strategy going onto the hard tires, but we did manage to beat him, so that's going to look good for us in front of our team. Max Verstappen is the only DRS causing that safety car that allowed me to beat Grosjean. Moving to the standings, there are no changes in the standings. No drivers changes, I believe. Yeah, everybody stays in the exact same spot. We stay in P7, which is best of the rest, 5 points behind, or ahead of the next car, or the next driver rather. And no one changes in the constructors' standings either. So stagnant throughout the entire field today, but a good result for us nonetheless.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. You were cutting your way through the field during the race. You were neck and neck with Lucas by today's finish. Can we look forward to more of the same? So talk us through what happened between you and your rival today. Appreciate your time.
So here we are in the rivalry breakdown. We did beat Roman Grosjean and gain more points on him due to our fastest lap and our finish position, but unfortunately, since we couldn't overtake Lucas Weber, we did tie him, and that means we're still losing the rivalry to him. But we do get a nice solid chunk of resource points today because we do get our team gold bonus, which was qualify 6 or higher, and we did that by qualifying on the front row in Canada. So that's an extra 500 resource points we'll be able to spend on our own car here. Of course, we get a big boost in rep to all the teams because we had a good race, but Emma wasn't satisfied, even though I came from P19 all the way up to P8 on the grid in a midfield car. So we do have contract negotiations, so we can adjust what the team wants of us. And I did fail out the contract last time, so I gotta make sure that I get it right this time. So I'm gonna say P9 for my qualifying and race position expectations, and then I go a little bit too high on my negotiation here by saying level 1 on everything except for the R&D, or the race bonus, which is level 2. So I got 2 more tries here. Oh, I had level 2 on the upgrade speed. I go down to level 1. That's an absolute must. Level 1 at least. That wasn't enough. I thought it would drop it down a little more, so I go to none on the pit stop efficiency, and I decide to raise the race and qualifying expectations up to P8 for qualifying, P7 for the race. So hopefully this will bring me down enough, and it does. It drops me down quite a bit. So I got what I wanted, or at least most of what I wanted from my contract. I am the first driver now, so I'll be getting that bonus. I feel like the team has seen enough to know that I'm the first driver over Roman Grosjean. But we're going to head into the R&D chart here, and you can see that the oil engine pressure, whatever upgrade, that's coming in next week for Austria. And I do have a bad morale right now with the chassis department, but I am going to purchase the efficiency upgrade. I think it's called the efficiency upgrade, the one that reduces the cost of all future upgrades. But I'm not going to buy anything in the chassis department. I was debating on buying the efficiency upgrade for the aerodynamics, but I already bought that at the beginning of the season, so I'm going to go with the chassis factory efficiency level 1 if I ever buy it. Yeah, there you go. I did buy it, so that's 1,000 points, but I still have enough for 1 minor, so I'm going to go with the front downforce for the front wing or whatever, secondary wing flaps. So that's going to be my upgrades for this time. So that means next time we'll have 2 upgrades coming on the engine power and the front downforce. So that's all I got for you guys today. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more content in the future. I'm trying to upload more often with everything that's been happening in the world. So I'll see you guys next time.